bit under the weather, but that's quite boring. But I never really get ill, so maybe that is interesting. I don't know.
Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
Get me with a funny voice any day, always.
That's now going to be the rest of the podcast. Ben and I just
You're going to be a star.
So, it's Thursday. Welcome to Drum and Drummer. It's me, Ben Winty. It's only George Pickering. There he is.
Yeah,
it's his little face.
On the Zoom call.
Yes.
Were you doing another voice there so you could impress our new friend Gabi King?
Maybe.
Because we found out from the chat she likes a funny voice, you know? And if that's not an incentive to listen to the whole thing, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Of course, this week we are joined by the one and only Gabi King.
I mean, you know, I kind of started the podcast with talking about it, but I met her, saw her play without realizing it was her 10 years ago, I think, 2014. And when she was playing in her teenage band. And then, you know, over the last however many years, she's played with Declan McKenna and now the 1975 and done other various bits and bobs. And she's someone that I've always sort of followed and always thought would be quite cool to have on the podcast. And I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but she's done a few podcasts recently. So, you know, we were like, right, let's delve in a bit more, you know, and also find out, you know, where she sits in the 1975 in terms of if she was a lasagna ingredient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We try and steer away from...
We'd like to take...
Who's your favourite drummer?
Band,
you know?
And, you know, 1975, cool. Now, if they're a lasagna...
Yeah.
Who's what?
Yeah.
We ask the big questions.
We do ask the big questions.
Well, let's just go straight in, I think.
Let's just go straight in.
I've got nothing to talk to you about, George. Nothing new, nothing. I don't care what you're up to. I don't care what you got planned.
No.
I only care about one thing, and that's Gabi King.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you so much for having me on. This is so fun. I've actually seen your guys' podcast before. I've listened to an episode.
Oh, really?
Before you emailed me.
Which one?
Amazing. Yeah.
I can't remember which episode it was now. It was a while back. I always just like finding drumming podcasts, like just trying to find a bit of inspiration, you know, and hearing other people's stories. I think it's fun. And yeah, I stumbled across your guys' page and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much.
I think actually maybe, did you do one with Emily Dolan Davies?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the one I listened to.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
She was one of those guests where you kind of ask one question and then she'll answer and it'll take 20 minutes to answer. And me and Ben can just, I don't know, give her the mic.
Yeah.
Be like, right, you take the reins.
Yeah, she's like really articulate and I've actually never met her, but I've always followed her and I've found her like so inspiring with her approach and stuff.
Yeah, she's amazing. Well, we met her on the Zoom call and then we saw her at the UK Drum Show, which we'll get to in a minute. And yeah, we were just shocked. Not shocked, but like it was like a kind of train of people just relentlessly going up to talk to her. And she was so lovely to each one. It was very sweet, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. That's super cool.
We'll get to the UK Drum Show because I know you're there next. Well, actually, when this comes out, I think it'll be 2 days before it starts. So
okay, yeah, next weekend.
Yeah,
low-key terrified.
Well, we'll come to that. I want to start with, because I kicked myself, I didn't start with this. I saw you play in your, I guess, teenage band years ago, and I mentioned this to you on an email. I think I was about 18. I think we're about the same age. I'm 29. And yeah, I didn't know it was you. And I remember filming a bit of the gig because the singer, I won't mention names or anything, but I ended up being in a band with her as well. And so I was just like, yeah, okay, Flossie, yeah.
No way. So, I'm seeing her later. We're going for a drink.
No way.
Yeah.
See if she remembers me. She might not. We were kind of...
You're Brighton. Are you from Brighton?
Yeah. Well, that was it. So we both went to BIM
No way,
And
Jose.
I remember she was just this really cool singer. Like she was just, I don't know, there's no way of saying it without it sounding like there'd be other singers that were kind of very like, I don't know, maybe from a theater background or something. And then she just comes in, she's pure like raw and just, I don't know, just got this amazing voice. And she was saying, oh, I got this gig. I think it was at the I can't remember what it's
Blind
called.
Tiger.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
R.I.P.
I know, literally, it was
it gone?
Brewdog now. Yeah, well, it's now a
Yeah.
Brewdog. But
I feel
remember,
like that was one
yeah,
of, if not the last gig that they had there.
really,
Yeah, because I remember them talking about it, or someone talking about it on that day, and it was like the first time I'd ever been there. I was like, oh, that's such a shame because this is a really cool venue.
yeah,
But yeah,
it was a
R.I.P.
cool
Blind
venue.
Tiger. It was a really cool venue.
It was
So many venues gone now, isn't it? So
Yeah.
many.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? It's
it is
awful.
sad.
It's a shame that some of the key venues of like us when we were growing up have gone.
Yeah, It
You
is.
still got like the Prince Albert and Green Door Store and stuff.
Yeah, you do. So that was kind of what I was going to ask was what was those years? Because obviously, you know, we can talk about 1975 and Declan McKenna, but I think it's
Yeah.
fascinating your formative years of, I think I heard you say it was like 15 to 19 that you were in that band. I don't know. I mean, I guess the question is, what did you learn from those years that kind of put you in good stead for your career?
Yeah, do you know what? It was such it was a real defining time of my life being in that band. And I'm still like really close friends of all of them to this day. Just went to one of their weddings like 2 weeks ago or something. So yeah, we really like grew as people and musicians, I think, in that experience, or at least that's how I felt about it anyway. When I first joined them, I'd never really even played drums. I'd always wanted to, and I think maybe I had like sat down at a kit a couple of times before that, but actually joined them initially as a guitar player
Oh, wow.
because I played
Quite a
guitar
common
before I
theme,
played.
actually. We find people.
Really?
Yeah, George was guitar for a bit first,
Yeah.
wasn't you? I played
And then
Yeah.
guitar
and then the
first.
band needed a drummer, so I started playing drums. Yeah.
Then we all
Yeah, that's
realised
literally it.
guitar shit. Let's
Yeah.
get behind the drums. They're big and cool, so probably
Maybe
do that
I was
instead.
just shit at guitar. I think that's the more thing. But actually, I never even like had a rehearsal with them as the guitar player because the drummer left before that even happened.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, I've
Left.
always wanted to play drums. Yeah, left.
Never to be
Do you
seen
know,
again.
It was really dramatic back in those like 14 to 15-year-old band departing ways dramas, you know, as you can imagine. Yeah, I was like, I think this was on like MSN maybe. I was like, oh, I've always wanted to play drums. Like, I'll be the drummer. That's so
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, I mean, and then I really just sort of developed my playing through being in that band, and like it was a real like deep end because they were quite good at getting gigs, and like I think a lot of promoters wanted to book us probably because we were all girls, and like I mean, 15 years ago it was a bit nichey. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, girl band.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was some of my first. Well, it was my first experiences of playing live, and I still remember my first ever gig so well, and I was petrified. And there's probably about 7 people in the audience in this church hall, but I was so scared. But yeah, it taught me a lot about playing with other musicians, and I feel like it really helped me develop into the drummer that I have become today. And like, I still love playing with other people. I feel most comfort playing with other people, more so than I do playing on my own. I'd always prefer just having a jam, you know, and like getting better that way, like bouncing off each other and like just sort of using my creativity in that sort of environment. So yeah, it just really helped develop those sort of fundamental skills that you need when you eventually become a session player.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It really was a lot of fun. We did some really cool gigs. I remember like the first time we went and did a gig in London, and it was just like we like hired a minibus and stuff, and it was like this massive thing. Like, oh my god, we're playing at the Blues Kitchen in Camden. It's like the sickest thing ever. I mean, I was 17 and then we were like getting served underage and stuff, and we just felt like the fucking dog's bollocks. Like, it was so sick.
I love it.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really fun time, and it did really help carve out a lot for me musically, and like the sort of player I wanted to be and what I enjoyed doing and sort of where I wanted to go with it. You know, the minute I started playing with them, it really made me realize, okay, I actually want to do this forever. And obviously at the time you think, I want to be in this band forever and we're going to make it big time and we're going to do this and do that. But obviously when you start getting older, and naturally you will start going down different paths. I realized that my path looked different to how I initially thought it was going to be, but it definitely ignited that flame that I then just, you know, veered into whatever direction worked best for me, really.
Well,
it was a good time. It was a lot of fun.
It. Well, I want to ask, around that time, so it sounds like you were sort of somewhat self-taught, but am I right in saying you did have drum teachers as well?
Yeah, so the first year of playing was very self-taught. I grew up going to church, so I took a lot of inspiration watching the drummers at church, and then I'd sort of come home and like try and play what I saw, put on the CD and try and play along to it, basically. What age was that? That would have been about 14, I guess. Yeah, so, and then about a year after, I started getting lessons at Sussex Academy of Music, which is in Shoreham.
Yeah, I worked there for a bit.
Did you?
Yeah, it must have been a while.
Yeah,
ago.
I mean, it was cool, but I had a lot of like, they'd always like swap my teachers out and stuff. Like, I never really had a set teacher. So I had a couple of different people taught me there. The two that really stuck out to me, and I can't remember their last names, and I don't even know what they're doing now at all, but one of them was called Rowan, and he was really cool. And then another one I had was called Blair, and he really introduced me to like hip hop music and playing like hip hop beats and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what sparked my love for like just grooves and stuff. He actually, I think of him quite a lot, and I think, well, I wonder what he's doing now. It'd be great to have a chat with him.
Mysterious guy.
Yeah. And then, oh no, maybe was it Blair, or maybe it was Blaze, something like that. Something of that.
Begins with a B. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had a couple of mates basically that were drummers that taught me just a couple of sort of lessons here and there.
Yeah.
Which again, like, taught me a lot about more the independence type thing. But I think I just really enjoyed learning other people's like approaches. Yeah. I think everyone takes a different lane in the learning process, and no two people have got the same things to teach you. So I quite enjoyed just getting loads of different versions, you know.
Yeah. Of course.
And then it was like college, uni and stuff like that. So, and then it just became the lessons that I got at college, basically.
Yeah.
And then, so that would have been about, I'd say from about 18 onwards, I just got taught from the educational vibes and also myself.
Yeah.
But actually recently I have been having a couple of lessons with a guy called Pat Garvey. Do you know him?
Yeah, I have lessons with him.
Been on the show.
He has
he?
Because I rent a room, well, I won't for it much longer, but at Toga, where you did that talk recently.
No way.
I'm in that.
Oh, that's super
Small
cool.
world. It's a small world, isn't it?
It's a really Do you still live in Brighton, George?
Yeah, I'm still yeah.
No way. We'll have to go for a pint and talk about drums.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had a couple of lessons with Pat, and I just basically was like, I just want you to grill me, give me stuff that's really hard, and like that's it. And we were looking at, we went right back to the basics. I mean, I don't even think we played the kit for about 3 lessons. Like, it was all pad stuff.
Yeah.
And then we looked at some Latin and stuff. I haven't actually seen him in a while, so that's
what made you want to do that.
I guess I felt like I was in a bit of a rut, like playing wise, and I really wanted to get out of it, obviously, but I didn't know where to start or what was making me feel like that.
I think it was like technique, like you felt you'd hit a limit, or a creative rut?
A bit of both. I feel like it was as much of a physical rut as it was mental. I feel like I was putting a mental barricade against myself, and I was sort of like limiting myself because maybe I don't know how to describe it. Like, you know, when you just like, you get in the way of yourself. It was just like that sort of thing. And I felt like I wanted to go and see Pat because he'd come recommended, and I'd heard of him before, back from when like my friends had gone to BIM and stuff. And I just wanted to go and get his point of view and his approach and just get a bit of fresh energy on it, really. And he really did help, like, just sort of reignite that want to like learn and progress. And I think he helped me get out of the way of myself as well, which was really cool. I think I just needed a bit of fresh energy, to be honest with you. It was just getting a bit like monotonous and like playing the same things and not knowing where to take it, or just having a bit of a creative block on where to go next and stuff. And I was just trying, you know, when you just try so many different things at once, like sort of throwing everything and see what stuck, but nothing was sticking because I was trying too much, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
100%.
he just really helped to like bring that tunnel vision in and just like hone in on like particular things, which just helped me evolve really.
Not to talk about myself, but I had exactly the same thing 2 years ago when I started studying with him, because it was like I was trying to practice, but I didn't know what to practice. I was like, well, a paradiddle is something I can do. And I'd be like, well, how fast can I play it? And then be like, I guess I'll do it faster, but knowing that my technique wasn't great. So I was like, is there any point in doing this? And my thing was, every gig I did, I felt like, God, I know that wasn't as good as I could. Like, I just felt stiff. I was like, why can't I, you know, you watch a drummer that just looks like they're just not like jelly, but just like flowing around the kit. And I was like, how do you be more like that? And yeah, I had the same thing. I went back to Pat, and, you know, the first lesson was him just almost being like, why are you here? What do you want? Are you going to waste my time? You know? And then the second lesson was just tap strokes. You know, you just get the pad out and just, I don't know if you had the same, but you just do tap strokes for a bit. And he was like, this is it. Get ready.
Yeah, fall down, tap up.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of go like, oh, actually, this is nice, because because it's such a big space of like, God, what can I learn? Am I going to be learning jazz? I've never thought about jazz, but should I try that? Or am I going to be doing this? Or, you know, suddenly it's just like, no, just bring it back to the most basic thing and then, you know, build it up again. So, yeah.
100%.
I want to ask about your teaching as well, speaking of teaching, because I'm aware you teach online. Is that correct?
I do, yeah. I teach online and I teach in person as well.
Yeah. Is that something you've always done alongside the gigs, or is that something new? Or?
No, it was a COVID venture. Yeah, COVID obviously fucked up everything for us as musicians. And my moment of panic of losing 7 months of work overnight, I got a job at Domino's, actually.
Oh, fair.
And I started delivering pizza in April 2020. And I did that for the whole summer. And do you know what? It actually really kept me sane, because I don't think I lived on my, actually, I started living on my own about a month after. And I don't think that would have really bode well for me, just being on my own amongst this chaos. So it helped. It just got me out of the house and driving around listening to my tunes, like thinking about what the fuck I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But it was a really nice summer that year. It was really hot, and I was like,
really
you know
was.
what? Everyone's like locked in their houses, and I'm just chilling, delivering pizza, eating chicken wings. Like, it's not that bad, you know. But then it got to like October of that year, and then I was delivering pizza in the pissing rain, and I was like, do you know what? This is not me. Like, what the hell am I doing? Like, almost on sort of like quarter life crisis, really.
Yeah.
I was just like, I mean, I feel like COVID really stripped so much away, as I'm sure you guys probably feel as well. Like, not to say that being a musician is my identity, but it's so much of who I am that when I didn't have that, I was just like, what the hell is going on? I feel like I was losing my head. And I'd never, ever really, truth be told, I'd never wanted to teach. It's not something that I'd ever wanted to do. It didn't really the idea of it didn't do anything for me. But I was like, well, I need to do something and I want to play drums. So let's just give it a go. Started off just online teaching. And I got a few students off the bat just from doing like an Instagram post. So yeah, I started with the online thing and I grew to really, really love it actually. And I've still got some students to this day that I've acquired back in those like earlier 2020, 2021 times, and just seeing how they've progressed over the years is like so rewarding.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. And so yeah, I moved into a new studio at the start of this year. So I started taking on, actually no, tell a lie, last year. So I started taking on more in-person students. So yeah, now I've probably got 50-50 in-person and online, and they're all varying abilities. You know, I've got total beginners that are just learning for fun. I've got people that are better than me and they're like absolutely shit hot and really keep me on my toes as a player, which is another really good thing about it, because it forces me to like, okay, you know, let's look at some more concepts that I might not have necessarily gone and dug into if I was just looking at it for myself. But when I'm looking at it to help other people, obviously it forces you to do it a bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that it's been super rewarding, and I've built some really good relationships with my students as well, and obviously like the younger ones and with their parents and stuff. And it's funny how, you know, I see people on Zoom every 2 weeks for the last 2 or 3 years, and I've never met them in person.
Yeah.
You just really feel like you know them, and it's crazy. But yeah, so I've been doing that since 2020, and it's a lot of fun, and it's something that I've wanted to keep going, because I mean, I'm sure you guys know the feeling of like when you get off a tour and all of a sudden you feel like, I don't know, useless, I guess. You're just like, of no purpose. And that's something that I really struggled with a lot for the first few years of touring. So knowing that I can come back and I've got like the teaching that I can just delve and head first into and really give it my all, just helps give me that sense of like purpose and keeps the structure and stuff.
You said the teachers you had, you were getting different perspectives on things. Have you worked out what sort of teacher you are?
Yeah. I don't know. I've never thought about that. I'm super easygoing. I am allergic to grades. If anyone ever asks me to teach their kids grades, I tell them to get fucked, because it's like the most boring thing that you could teach a kid. I never learned grades. Loads of people I know that are successful didn't do grades. It doesn't define you as a player. And also, who wants to sit there and learn the same thing that every other person in the country on grades is learning? I'm quite fluid really in my teaching style, in that I like, it's very student led, you know, in like what they want to learn, what they want to get out of the kit, because not everyone's got the same aspirations with it. So, you know, if there's someone that's learning it for fun, I'm not going to be like, you need to do this and that and that, and like be more strict with them, compared to the one that maybe wants to get into music school. They want to be a session player, and it's like, okay, well, if you want to do that, then these are the things that you need to do, you know? So yeah, my approach really does vary a lot based on the student, to be honest with you. But I'd say overall, I just like to make it fun. I'm not too regimented. It's good, like, you know, we have a little chat and think about what they want to get out of it, and we just sort of take it from there, really.
Do you think they should replace the grades with Mr. Brightside? Like, play that, you'll be fine for 20 years. Like,
baby, yeah, or like Mustang Sally.
Yeah, just here's Valerie, Brown Eyed Girl, Mr. Brightside, Mustang Sally. Play them.
Off you go.
You're off to a barn in Reading, and you'll bring home 200 quid. It'll be easy, yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Maybe so. Maybe you should rewrite them, Ben.
Yeah,
you got some good
drum
ideas.
And drummer. We'll do a drum and drummer.
Great book.
Certification.
That is not a bad idea.
We have talked about this before, like the kind of lessons that should be taught in drums, like, you know, trying to load out gear from a gig and how to get past people, and various other things, you know, that just happen on gigs. Like,
here's a car, pack it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that in itself is it requires a lot of skill and patience.
You've got a gig in central London. It's a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Which way are you getting in?
Yeah.
That's it. And don't forget to pay your congestion charge that I did, because now I've got a £90 fine.
Oh,
Me too.
no.
Me too. Honestly, I got it the other day.
Yeah.
I thought I avoided it.
I know.
I went and I double-checked the zone, because I used to live in London before the congestion charge.
Yeah.
And then it came in and it was quite small, like right in central London. And then they expanded it really far. And then when I left London, they've changed it. Now they've got the ULEZ, but they've shrunk the congestion charge zone again.
Oh,
and
really?
The way,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it used to be huge, like in the mid-noughties when they've brought it in. Because I used to drive into Kensington for uni and just park my car on the street.
God.
Which seems
what a
mental
life.
now.
Yeah, I was going to say. How old are you?
And I knew we had a gig in London. And I was I've got some years on you too.
We don't
we had a
look
gig
it.
in central London, and the M25 was so shit. So coming up from Portsmouth, it was like we're gonna have to go in through town and cut across the bottom and get to East London. Then we got strung up we didn't know if the van would fit in this tunnel or not, so we had to go another way. But I was like, no, I swear we didn't go in the congestion charge. And then I got the fine. And I looked at the map at one road. We went one road further along and then turned off.
No way.
Fucking hell, 90 quid to go down one fucking road.
Yeah, when it gets you. And do you know what it was as well? Is because the gig that I was playing, I drove home after it. I didn't get home till like 2 a.m. And by the time I got home, my mind was fried and just completely left my brain. And I was like, because when you drive through it, you think, must pay that. And you get to the gig and it goes completely out your mind and never re-entered.
I thought I'd avoided it. I thought, no, where we turned off, we'd normally go straight ahead, but we've turned to head back south a bit. So I've avoided it. And I was normally like, and I thought, do I just pay it anyway, just in case? And I was like, no, I'm pretty confident. I fucked it.
But if you pay it and you're not meant to have paid it, do they give it back to you? I feel like they probably would have.
Not.
No.
Probably not.
That'd be nice, though.
Yeah, it's a stinger, man.
Idiot tax.
My condolences.
Thank you. Yeah, you got to pay idiot tax every year. And,
yeah, honestly. I got 2 tickets in the same day, one for the congestion charge, and actually one was 2 days before the rehearsal for this gig that I got the congestion charge fine. I drove down a no motor vehicle road. So that's another fine that I got through the post, which I'm thrilled about, as you can imagine.
Well, I hope you managed to break even at least on these rehearsals.
Well, yeah, I think one of the day rates went out the window, really. But I'm going to appeal it, though. You've got to appeal it, and you at least try.
I had it once. I mean, we haven't even got to Declan McKenna in 1975. It might just be a car chat for the rest of it. But I had it. I don't know if I did it, but I put my reg in incorrectly. It was SK04, and I'd somehow written SK like the letter O rather than the number 0. And and they got me for that. They were like, this is not the correct reg. I'm like, well, it looks the same. It's still a circle, you know what I mean? And they're like, no, it'd be 90 quid. And I was on the phone appealing it. And I did manage to like get them to drop it, but it took about 2 hours.
And you paid it?
Yeah, I paid it. Yeah, I paid 10 quid or whatever it was. And they were like, no, you need to pay 90. I was like, what? You can see it's the same reg. Come on, give me a break, you know?
That's just them being arseholes. I mean, they'll try anything these days, won't they?
They will. This is it.
It's crazy. Bastards. Anyway, I've completely forgotten the tangent that we
it's okay.
left off at. But
this can happen. Well, let's talk about Declan McKenna.
Yes.
So I listened to interviews before doing this with you, and, you discussed how the gig came through when you were studying in London, and you thought it would just be, a number of gigs and then that would be it, and then obviously it ended up being 7.5 years. And you did everything I guess you can do. I wanted to know, at what point did you kind of start to think, oh, this is more than just a few gigs. This could actually be something that's for a while now. Was there a moment, or was there a time where it started to pick up a little bit?
Do you know what? Like, straight off the bat, it was pretty full on, straight out the gate. So got the gig in, it would have been, I think, the November of 2015. And the rehearsals started, I think, on like the 3rd of January 2016. And it was 2 weeks of rehearsals. And then we were going into a support tour, just like a local Geordie band. And then it was kind of like, because it was like a 2-week run, and it was like my first ever tour, and obviously it's like absolute toilet tour around the UK, but having the best time of my life. And during that, there was like more and more things getting put in the diary, like on the iCal. And I think it was basically straight from the get-go that I was like, oh, this is actually going to be quite like a thing. And then there was talk of like going to America, and like I think it was maybe the July or the August of that year, and it was like, wow, like going to America, like that's crazy. I'd never even been to America. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I mean, to be honest with you, it was kind of mad that I never felt overwhelmed with it. I felt really like, oh, this is fun. Let's just ride this out. And I think, to be honest with you, right up until I left, I was still just riding it out.
Yeah.
And just taking the opportunities that were coming and just doing it and, you know, getting on with the job, but never really taking into like what I was actually a part of.
How far in advance were things getting booked up?
I mean, it varies. Sometimes it was 6 months or something. Sometimes it was a week, you know, like, oh, by the way, you guys are doing this next week, or you're going to do this radio show or something like that. 2016 was it was a really busy year actually, because I mean, in those early days of when they're getting an artist off the ground, there's so much coming at you, you know, Vivo discovers, and you've got like live lounges, and there's just loads and loads of like promo, radio stuff, TV stuff, and then just like gigs after gigs after gigs, because they're just trying to build that organic following. So I think, to be honest, I wasn't ever really off tour that year. Like, it was just crazy. Like, you know, we'd do the UK, and then we'd do Europe, and then we'd do UK again, but supporting a band. And then we'd go to America supporting a band, and then we'd come back to Europe for festivals, and then we'd go back to America and do our own headline tour. And it was just like an ever evolving thing, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, to be honest, it was pretty much instantly.
Yeah.
It was only when I said about it, thinking it was only going to be like one gig, that was like before I started the rehearsals, and I was asked to like do the audition process and things like that. And I didn't know what to expect, basically. But yeah, as soon as it got ticking along, I was like, oh, okay, this is like an actual thing. Okay, cool.
So I got to ask, speaking of, you know, you mentioned how people are saying, oh, you'll be going to America and this is going to be happening. You know, I've had certain gigs before where you kind of get told things like, oh, you're going to be supporting this person, you're going to be doing that.
You're going to be a star.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then
I'm going to make you a star, kid.
And then it doesn't happen. Yeah. Had you had, I mean, you're
that's
still,
too funny.
still
That's really got me.
I love that.
That's so funny.
You found Gabi's sense of humor. Just doing that.
1920s Hollywood big shot.
Yeah,
I'm going to make you a star.
Yeah, get me with a funny voice any day, always.
That's now going to be the rest of the podcast. Ben and I just
You're going to be a star.
You've seen The Mask?
With a cigar.
In The Mask where he just captures the bad guy. You're good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll only be second best. See?
You're really good at that.
Oh, thank you very much.
You are really good at that. Sorry. Yeah.
No,
America.
it's okay. I was going to ask. You were still very young at the time, so maybe not. But had there been gigs before where people have like said, "Oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen," and it didn't happen? And then when it happens with Declan, you're kind of like, oh, "Okay, I've been here before." Or was that the first time? It was like things were promised, and then they did happen. You know?
How was your bullshit detector on at all?
Yeah. Do you know what? In this job, your bullshit detector is never off. Never. Not necessarily bullshit though. It's just that things fall through. Like, it's just the nature of the job. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, even to this day, like, people will say, "Oh yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that," but I'll never like believe it until I'm actually on the plane there or actually on the stage doing it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so fickle and things can just fall through like that. With that, I don't even remember, to be honest. I think I was just in a bit of a whirlwind that I was just like, cool, yeah. Like, it didn't even cross my mind that maybe it wasn't going to happen. I was just like, yeah, sick. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was like the first gig of that ilk that I had done. But the only thing that, sorry, Olive, that's my dog. Just stop doing that, darling. She keeps, she's got a bad nose at the minute. So we have to keep an eye on her because otherwise she cuts it
Oh,
open.
no. What kind of dog?
What, do you
Does
want to
she
see her?
come on
Yeah,
camera?
you're welcome to bring her to the call.
Come here, darling. Do you want to meet the boys? Oh,
Ah,
Oh, wow.
boys. Mwah. This is Olive. There she is.
hello, Olive.
She's a pug cross-Jack Russell.
I was going to say, yeah, it looked like a pug, but
Yeah,
she looked like a
she's
pug.
a good girl. She's 10 next month. Yeah. Mwah. I'm going to be an old girl. But she's so sweet. She's a smelly dog. But nice smelly, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Her
I know what
face
you
smells
mean.
like cheese crackers, and it's like crack. So good.
Does she eat cheese crackers, or is it just how she smells?
Well, I mean, she would. We don't give them to her, but she wouldn't turn them down. No, it's just how she smells.
Fair enough.
But she's a good girl.
Oh.
But yeah, no, the only thing that's probably similar to that is, I don't think I've ever really spoken about this, is when I was at uni, I got, I don't know what the word would be, scouted, I suppose, to do this. And it was such a mad experience. So back in, I would say 2014 or 15, Louis Tomlinson from One Direction was sort of living his Simon Cowell era. And he wanted to put together like the next big girl band.
Right.
And this was never really, it was never like publicized or anything. I think other than like maybe just a little bit. And I don't even know how the opportunity came my way, but it turned out I got asked to audition for it. And what happened was they had all these different girls turning up to these audition days, and there was cameras there. And, you know, you had singers, guitar players, drummers, bassists, and we'd all got asked to learn these different songs. Go on, Ellen. Sorry.
Mr. Brightside, Brown-Eyed Girl, Mustang Sally, Valerie, yeah. You've done your grade. You've done your drummer grade.
Well, that's it. Yeah, exactly. No, the songs that we had to learn actually were, oh God, what was it? It was a Paramore one. I can't remember what it was called now. And it was like a No Doubt song and stuff like that. You know, girl band rock songs and stuff. And we were all just like turning up. We walked into this room and there was a panel of people sat there, and we were all like had different. They basically auditioned us in like different band formations. So I'd had an audition with like one configuration, and then I stayed on the kit, and then like another girl came in on guitar and stuff. It was really bizarre. And there was cameras around, and they were asking us questions. What's your favorite song at the moment? Blah 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 blah. Anyway, this whole audition process, basically, of all these girls with all this dream of being in this super group that they said they were putting together, I ended up getting the gig, right? So me and this other girl, who I'm still friends with now, she plays bass for Tom Grennan now, but Julia Lamb, she got the gig on guitar and I got the gig on drums. And we were going to these meetings at Sony, and they were like, you know, we really want to build this band around you two. But they couldn't find a bass player and they couldn't find a singer. So basically the whole thing got canned.
Wow.
But for like those couple of months, like I was just going through this process, and I was going into management meetings, and it was like, we really love your look, you know, we want to build this band like around you, and it's going to basically be like, it's going to be massive, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? And then the whole thing just got canned.
Wow.
So that was like the first experience of like, okay, yeah, things just go in an instant like that. I mean, it's a really interesting experience though, and it was a lot of fun, and like it was kind of my first audition process of like, it wasn't even like an audition process, it was like being on the X Factor, which isn't real, but it was like walking into this room and there was the stage and there was this like panel of people, like basically Louis Tomlinson and then all of his entourage, and like they all just sat there watching, and it's like, I mean, do you guys really know anything about playing these instruments? Like, do you know what you're looking for? Probably not, but they don't really care, do they?
No, wow. Because that's the thing. Why wouldn't you believe it? You know, it's like if it's Louis and he's in One Direction at the time, and it's like, oh yeah, he's there, so I'm going to be famous. But
that's it. So it was like this big thing that was going on, but then the whole thing just got canned.
Wow.
And then, a few months later, I joined Declan. So.
Were there any standout points in the Declan McKenna run for you? Because you did some crazy stuff. I mean, Royal Albert Hall and all the festivals and everything, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the gigs were amazing, but do you know what stands out to me the most from that whole time in my life is like the relationship that we all had, because it was so intense, and it was me, Declan, Isabel, Nathan, and Willie, and we were just like this little family unit for like 6 years, and we never once like fell out or anything, which is so mad. And obviously, as a session player, it's to be expected. But like for a session band to remain like that for such a long amount of time is quite a rarity, really. So for me, the thing that always stands out above any of the gigs we did is like just the bond and the relationship that we have and still have, like the amount of shared history that we have and we'll always have for the rest of our lives is just like really cool and really special.
Yeah.
So that always really stands out to me above any, like, it's almost like the calm amongst the chaos. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, we're on stage and we're playing this crazy gig, but I know that if I look over there, that's like my bro and we're just having a fucking good time. Like we could be anywhere. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that always really makes me feel more like fond of the memory than any gig, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like the gigs just come and go.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I can't remember half of them. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I was to choose a gig, like the Brixton one and the Coachella one, Royal Albert Hall was obviously amazing as well.
Yeah. No, that's a great, I don't know, take on it. Yeah. It's not the gigs, it's the bond, you know.
It's the friends we made along the way.
Exactly.
Well, this Ben geezer, man, he's funny.
It's true though. Like
Ben's life.
some of my best friends to this day are the guys I was in a band with when I was 16.
Yeah. Well,
And
it's the same with me and Floss, you know. I mean,
I can't help but see them differently to other people I know
yeah.
because of
There's
what we did as a
deepened
band.
bond,
It's
isn't
like
it?
there's something I feel some bonds me more with them than my actual brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a weird thing, and I think, you know, you mentioned your first band when you were a teenager, and it seems like that again was still something so important to you. It's the people you're doing it with, and I think that's the case for a lot of people. And I think maybe like a concern is that I had someone intern for me at my studio, and all he ever did was music in his bedroom. And then as soon as you put him in a room with people, he would crumble. And I said to him, like, you need to go and find other people and get out of your bedroom and go and play with people and record people and work with people you don't know, work with people you do know. And I think that's something that all the venues closing and things like that, it's so important that that doesn't get lost, and that if people focus so solely on their own playing and putting it on Instagram, that's great. But it's that journey you do with other people that is so important.
100%.
And like you say, that's the bit you remember the most, really.
Yeah.
You have
definitely.
the highs, you have the lows, but if they're a constant, that's great.
That's it. And sharing all those amazing experiences with those people, like, it just makes it think, fucking hell, like, is this real? Like, this is real. We're actually doing this. This is crazy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Anything else you want to ask about Declan before we move on to...
Did it ever feel like a job?
Yeah, of course. You know, you got to have chats about money and all those annoying conversations that have to be had. You know, you need, as much as it is a friendship, I am a business, you know. So there came some times when I had to approach it as business and be professional about it and have conversations that I didn't necessarily want to have but needed to for my own business, you know. So yeah, I think the moment that you forget that it is for a job is you're setting yourself up for being a doormat, really, because people will take advantage of it for sure. You got to maintain that like level of, yeah, we're mates, but also like I'm here to work, you know. Finding that balance,
yeah,
really.
definitely. Definitely.
So yes is the answer to that.
Let's talk 1975 because I'm conscious of time. So you
Sorry, my podcasts always go on for so long.
no,
I
it's
don't know
okay.
why.
This is great. This is what you honestly, sometimes you do a podcast and you ask all your questions in the first 10 minutes and you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to blag it for an hour.
Fill it out.
Yeah. This is the good way to do it. So you're percussionist for the 1975.
Yeah.
I want to ask about like the very black and white question. What is the actual setup that you have for that?
As in like what gear do I use?
Yeah, literally.
Oh, okay. If you'd asked me this like a year and a half ago, I'd be like, fuck knows.
Yeah.
But no, so we'll start from the left and we'll move around. Okay, so far left, I've got, and you're going to test me now on the names of the cymbals because they're not in front of me.
I was okay. I'm not asked about brands, just more like literally what you have. Like I know because it's bongos and there's
What we're used to is a cajon. That's all. That's our range of percussion. Maybe a tambourine if they're lucky.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just go left to right so it's easy for me to remember. But yeah, so I've got like a Latin hand crash. They're all Zildjian anyway. Big ups.
Okay.
Love you guys. Latin hand crash. And then I've got these jam blocks, basically, LP jam blocks. And I've got a cowbell. And then I've got wind chimes. Got this other massive Zildjian called a sheet gong. It's literally about, I'd say, 30 inches across by probably about 25. Massive, weighs a ton. Doesn't really do much, just throw it around the stage because it looks cool. And then I've got a mounted tambourine, and then I've got two LP congas, Giovanni's. One's a conga, one's a quinto, which I think is slightly larger than the conga. And I've got bongos, and then I've got a snare drum, and then I've got an SPD, I've got a Zildjian spiral crash, I've got some more cowbells on my right, and maybe some more jam blocks, and then loads of handheld tambourines and shakers and stuff, basically.
Wow. Amazing.
There's a lot going on. It's quite
There's
a
a lot
spaceship.
going on. So I want to. I think Ben and I both wanted to ask this. What's the? I mean, aside from it's literally something different you're playing. What's the difference in playing percussion to playing a drum kit on a gig for you?
Biggest difference is like percussion. You're playing around the groove, like you're sort of seasoning it. Whereas obviously with drums, you're just laying it down on the money every time. But if a percussion player was just copying the drummer, then it would sound rubbish. So you end up playing a lot of the offbeats and like the 16th note E subdivided type things to decorate around what the drummer's playing. You tend to want to stay away from the backbeat. So that's the main big difference, really.
Is there a kind of feeling, because I feel like as a drummer, you kind of feel like I'm the driving force in this. I'm the engine of the car. I'm the foundation of the house.
Anymore?
I don't know, I'm trying to think of more. I'm the, the cheese on the lasagna. Doesn't really work. Just, you're like...
If
you're
anything,
like
I'm the cheese on the lasagna, and you'd be the mince.
I'd be the meat or the pasta. What's the most crucial part of a lasagna?
It's the meat.
Well, I guess it probably is the pasta, because you can get veggie lasagnas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no
It's not a lasagna without the pasta, is it?
Well, this is it. So, anyway, that's my question. No, that's not the question. The question is,
what
you feel almost
if I
like
was
you're
a lasagna? Which
if
one
you're
would
a
I be,
lasagna, yeah. What would you? Well, let's ask that first, and then I'll ask the real question. In the 1975, in lasagna ingredients, what are you?
Well, I am. I would be the cheese on the top.
Okay.
Because I'm not necessary, but it'd be shit without it.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean? So
I wish we could end it there. That was brilliant. No, what I was going to say is, as a drummer, you're like in control. You're the one that's, I'm the engine, whatever.
The engine of the car, yeah. The foundation of the house, yeah.
But does it almost feel like, as a percussionist, that you're somehow not as in charge of the band.
Do you
And is that
hate
everything to you?
seceding control to someone else on the drums?
Yeah.
Is that
Not at all. No way.
Are you giving him evils going, "Oh, I could do that. Oh, you're giving me
No
a couple
way.
of shiny things and a cowbell. And
I would sit and watch George play drums till the cows come home.
Mm.
He's
Yeah.
insane. And I've learned so much from him in so many different ways. Not just like as a musician, but like just on a personal level as well. Like he's such a nice guy. So, and it'd be really weird of me to come into that environment and then get really annoyed that I'm not playing drums. Like that's so
That would be
bizarre.
weird. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's literally not my band at all.
No.
Like, do you know what I mean? So I am absolutely thrilled to even be there with them and to be working as like George's right-hand man and like working with him in that way and getting to like decorate what he's already doing is, yeah, super fun. I love it.
did you have to
really love it.
find your own way of what to be doing? Do you sometimes just go, well, I don't really know what to do on this bit, so I'll just... Is there...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, because the nature of how it was started was like they had already started the campaign. So I flew out and joined the tour. So I never had like a rehearsal with them. I just sort of learnt all the songs from the multi-tracks that they sent me. And then I also did a bit of deep diving onto any other like B-sides that they might have played. But I didn't get all the B-sides. So sometimes I found myself on stage and Matt would be like, oh, let's do this song. I've never even heard of it, let alone learn to play it. So George would be down the talk back, just like something. And then I'd just sort of, cool, let's just vibe it out. Or sometimes it would be, yeah, all good, mate, just vibe out. And I'll be like, cool, no worries. And then, just do whatever seems fit for the tune, really.
So did you find you'd vary things up different nights, or would you be like, oh, I found what I should do here, everyone's happy, so I'm just now going to do that each night?
Once I found a part that works, I wouldn't really come away from that part, more for like the sake of developing that muscle memory, especially those like first few weeks on the road. Like getting that muscle memory into play was like essential for me, because as you know, and as we know as drummers, once the muscle memory's in and you can play it confidently without thinking, then I can start thinking, okay, well, what could I add to this now that I'm locked in with this? Is there anything I can do to make it a little bit better? Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't do that straight off the bat, because it's just setting yourself up for disaster, really, isn't it? Because if it doesn't go as well as you thought it would, then... But yeah, sometimes it's... Maybe I'll play the chimes at a point when I didn't play them before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that's a little bit more atmospheric like that. But if it's like a conga part or a bongo pattern, bar a couple of 16th note rolls or something, the sections were pretty mapped out in my head. Yeah, basically.
Should we talk about the drum show?
Yes.
Drum show.
How are you feeling?
Let's talk. Do you know, every time I think about it, I get a little bit like jittery. I had a dream last night about it, and I had a dream that I missed all of the sort of commitments I'd made around it, because I was desperately trying to program my SPD, and then I had a dream that I was actually late to my set as well. And I was like, that's when you know that you're getting a bit hot under the collar, innit? Because you're just like, it enters your fucking subconscious. But no,
just talk us through what you're doing there, and
sounds like you're feeling fine. Yeah.
No, I'm so relaxed.
Existential crisis aside, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
No, do you know what? I am really looking forward to it, and the reason that I agreed to do it was because it absolutely petrifies me, and I feel like, well, if it scares me, then more reason to just do it. Because what's the worst that could happen, realistically? And I know that once I do it, I'm going to think, fucking hell, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Do you know what I mean? I actually did my first solo masterclass last weekend as well, as a bit of a warm-up. And I survived it. So it's all good.
Great. Yeah.
I'm sure we've got some listeners who will be going to the drum show. We went last year.
Yeah.
I'm unable to go this year.
Oh, that's a shame.
What have you got planned? Can you give people a sneak preview of what they can expect if they come see you?
Yeah, of course. I was thinking even before I got asked to do drum show, I was thinking for ages about because I've always wanted to do like a masterclass run around like unis or whatever. And I was like, what would my concept be? Because I just want to do it for the sake of doing it. And I sort of fell into this title of adaptation and application, which is sounds a bit lame, but the concept behind it is I was trying to think like what I can bring to the table, and throughout my career I've found myself in a lot of different playing scenarios. Obviously standard kit, I've done loads of like stand-up electronic stuff, and now I'm on like percussion stuff, and all of those opportunities came to me by chance, and I sort of had to really think on my feet and adapt to the situation I was in and deliver basically. So I'm kind of just showcasing that. So I'm sort of going through the progression. So I'm starting it I'm sort of using 3 different artists as like examples of showcasing that by playing their tunes. So I'm starting off with Declan, which was obviously basically just full kit. And then I'm moving on to playing a couple of songs by an artist called El Divine, which was more electronic approach. So I'm going to get like a SVD type setup. I'm going to slightly alter what it is I've already got set up. So that's why I'm a little bit unsure. And then I'm going to go to the 1975 and do some percussion stuff as well. So just sort of take them on a bit of a journey from where I started and where I ended up, and the importance of taking the skills that you have on a kit and applying them to different things, basically. All still within the world of drums, but, just sort of utilizing those skills in a slightly different way, and, applying foot patterns to the feet, applying foot patterns to the hands to suit the style of gig and stuff. And just how it can benefit you, basically.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's my concept, basically.
Yeah.
And then just chatting about the experiences that I had, how I ended up where I was, and the tools that I used to develop the different areas, basically, the skills in different areas.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to try and showcase.
Is there an expectation on like how much balance between talking and playing you should do in one of these classes, or is it completely up to you?
It's really up to me. If I wanted to just like play the entire time and not say a word, then I could do that, but it'd just be a little bit odd. I'd say I'm probably 60-40 playing and talking. Obviously, like, people want to see you play, like, that's the main thing. So yeah, really the talking side of it is just going to be giving it a little bit of direction. And next I'm going to be doing this, basically. It's going to be fun though, and I think it's going to be maybe a bit different to what most other people are going to be doing. So yeah, it'd be cool.
It'd be great.
Just finish it with, I'm going to make you a star.
I'm going to make you a star.
Gabi, who's your favourite delivery company?
Why?
It's the first
we
time
ask
Ben
all our
hasn't
guests.
said,
We asked all our guests at the end of the
question.
show. Yeah, that's our last question. Who's your favourite delivery company?
Like, what kind of delivery?
Good
Well, it's
question.
up to you.
Be whatever you want it to be.
Okay. Well, I need to think about this. Wow, you've really put me on the spot.
And yourself as Domino's doesn't count.
Yeah.
You can't have that.
Oh,
Even if you
that
were
was-
a good delivery driver.
I was really good. Although one time I did deliver a pizza on its side and I got a complaint. But I did gaslight the manager into saying, no, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It wasn't me. My favourite delivery company, I guess it would have to be, I really like UPS because I think their vans are cool. I've always wanted to drive a UPS van. It's very like American, isn't it, with the door open and stuff?
Yeah.
So probably that, I would say, or Deliveroo, because obviously it's just great.
Yeah.
What's your go-to Deliveroo order?
Christ. I don't have a go-to. I'm an absolute, I mean, do you know what? I absolutely love McDonald's. I love McDonald's and I love Subway, but I love pho as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I also wouldn't say no to a good tacos delivery.
There you go.
Either. I love food, so as long as it's good, anything. To be honest.
Thanks so much for joining us, Gabi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so lush.
No, it's
You're
been
welcome.
great.
I'd love to go for a beer with you guys. You're
definitely
great crack.
You're someone
Well,
we
I'll come
wanted
down
to
to
have on the
Brighton.
pod for a while.
And
We'll do
Sorry, I
it
live in
because you've been
Brighton.
saying I've been here for how many years and you never ever come down. I always have to meet you.
Portsmouth isn't even that far away either.
Exactly, Gabby. Exactly.
yeah, so
It's
you two
literally
can
so
both
close.
come to Portsmouth.
You're the common denominator, really.
What I'll do is I'll come to Brighton and we'll there's loads of you in Brighton. And we'll have
We
a
can
nice
meet
drum.
halfway
We can
in
have a drummer.
Southampton.
No, it's not halfway.
What's halfway?
Southampton's the other way from Portsmouth.
Oh, of course. Oh,
We'll
you
be
can meet
halfway. Well, I mean,
Worthing.
Well, I live in Worthing, and that's where I am
That's
right
why I
now.
said it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you guys should come to Worthing.
Maybe we should.
We should.
She's done us there, Ben.
Where can people find you on Instagram, I guess?
I'm at Gabrielle Marie King on Instagram and on TikTok. And if anyone's interested in having any lessons with me, then just pop me a little DM or give me an email as well. There's a link to my email on my Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it, really.
Great.
Brilliant.
Do I hang up now, or do you just stop recording and then we have an informal goodbye, or what happens?
Let's do that
Sort
because
of-
yeah. Okay. Should we do the goodbye and then you
We'll
can
do a
stay on
goodbye
for
and then
two-
we'll
yeah,
do. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys for having me.
You are
It's
welcome.
been a pleasure.
It has been great.
Have fun.
We
at
will
the
end
drum
this
show.
call now. We will
Until
say our
next time.
goodbyes.
Till next time.
We will make you a star. Bye-bye. There we go.
There we go.
Lovely chat with Gabi.
Lovely chat with Gabby.
What career?
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those ones where we were not going to run out of things to talk about. Probably
Definitely
other
not.
things we could have talked. Definitely things we could have talked about. You know, quick delve into Declan McKenna. Cool, back out. Right, 1975. You know,
Yeah.
and that's
If all else
that's
fails, 1920s Hollywood exec.
good. Exactly.
Bring out that impression.
Yeah, just keep doing that.
Who'd have known that would have tickled the fancies of Gabi King?
Exactly.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But yes, if you are going to the UK drum show
Mm.
this coming weekend up in
Yeah.
Liverpool, go and see Gabi King. I've got the confirmation. She's going to be Sunday, 1:30 in the Mike Dolbear masterclass room.
Mm.
So you've got to go and check that out. I wish I was there, George.
Yeah.
I wish I was going this weekend. I really do. I feel like I'm going to be missing out. I'm going to be working all weekend gigging, so I can't complain.
No.
But if you are going, maybe have a good time. I think we should go next year. But
I think
obviously
we
there's
should.
loads of other cool shit going on that we can't go and see Gabi.
Yeah. Exactly. I was in two minds about going, but I think I might have to go now.
Make
I
it
think
happen.
if the plane's on time and I get back to Gatwick in time, just get on a train and just go up to Liverpool because it's fairly close to Liverpool train station.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's just such a long way, though, isn't it? As Gabby said,
Yeah. It is,
unless you live up north, but you know, but who does? It's like must be like 4 people that live up north, you know. John Bishop.
South Coast is where it's at, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
John Bishop, some of the Man United squad,
The 2 of them.
and
yeah.
Alan Shearer.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the only people who live.
the only people live up north, you know. Everyone has to go up, go up for the UK drum show.
Right, unless this episode comes out, you're going to Switzerland this day. You're going
Yeah.
the day this comes out, right?
Today, yeah.
What airline are you flying with?
EasyJet.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you taking any drum gear with you?
No.
Do you have to take
Just
No.
sticks,
just sticks.
which is nice, but also a bit daunting because what the
Yeah.
hell am I playing on? You know.
Yeah. Well,
But-
I don't miss the days of taking my trombone on an aeroplane.
No.
I don't miss those. It's a bit worrying sticking a $2,500 trombone in the hold.
It really is.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I managed to get it basically like almost like a bulletproof case. It was like a special case made in Spain,
Nice.
but it's really small, like really slimline to the actual trombone. It's
Mm.
fucking rock solid. It would cost so much money, but it's so worth it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just in case someone tries to shoot your trombone.
It's possible. We
It is
are
possible.
trombonists are high up there on the list of
Yeah.
targets.
Yeah.
They're doing some gardening outside or something, and it's so fucking loud.
It hasn't
I
come
don't
through.
think you can hear it on here, no.
No.
But all I can hear. Do they not know I'm trying to do drum and drummer?
Yeah.
Do they not know this? I told them they should know. They should be subscribed, reviewed it 5 stars, and listen every week.
Exactly.
Maybe they're listening to it now. Who knows? Who knows?
Probably. Likely.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I hope you have a great time in Switzerland, George.
Thank you very much.
I can't wait to hear all about it.
Yeah. You really will.
And I would like a Toblerone, please.
I can do that for you.
You know, the really big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those, please.
What, from duty free or actually from Switzerland?
Duty free's fine.
Yeah. It's going to be quite
Get
hard
it
to
somewhere
to,
and
but-
lie and tell me. You can tell me a lie. It's fine.
I can
Doesn't
do
matter.
that.
Whatever's cheapest.
Got you.
I'm looking after your pockets.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, if you go to the drum show, I hope you have a great time. Follow us on Instagram and all that. And go check out Gabi.
Yep.
Check out her Instagram, see what she's up to. And don't forget to see her at the drum show on Sunday. Have a good time in Switzerland. And we'll see everyone next week for a lovely old catch-up.
Lovely.
Bye-bye, George.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.